Hey everyone, and welcome. So long before Tokyo was the powerhouse it is today, the real center of Japan's universe was Kyoto. Today, we're going to take a tour through its incredible history, checking out the landmarks that tell these epic stories of shoguns, monks, and warriors. So, let's jump right in.
Just try to picture it. You're standing on top of a hill at sunset, looking down as the city of Kyoto starts to glow. For centuries, this was the view, a huge sprawling tapestry where the last bits of sunlight would catch the golden rooftops of temples in the distance. It's that amazing feeling, that atmosphere, that we're diving into.
I mean, for over 1,000 years, this was the capital. Its temples and palaces, they're not just old buildings, they're like physical records of Japan's most intense historical moments. Seriously, every single corner has a story, from secret imperial plots to the all-out wars between samurai clans.
And what's really wild is that these stories are so epic, they're literally jumping out of the history books and into our world. The very landmarks we're about to explore are being rebuilt, piece by piece, in video games, letting a whole new generation walk these ancient streets in a completely new way.
Okay, so our first stop is basically a family drama told through two temples. It's a story about a grandfather and his grandson, and how their legacies got forever tied to gold, and, well, something else entirely. This is the tale of the Ashikaga shoguns.
So first up, we have the one, the only, the legendary Golden Pavilion, or Kinkakuji. This was the retirement home for a shogun named Ashikaga Yoshimitsu. And to really get this place, you have to understand this guy wasn't just powerful, he was unbelievably wealthy. He controlled the trade with China, and the money that brought in was just staggering. This pavilion wasn't a house, it was a giant, glittering statement of power.
And the building itself, oh man, it tells its own story. Each floor is a completely different architectural style, representing a different piece of Japanese society. The first floor is all open and airy. That's the style of the old court nobles. The second floor is built in the style of the samurai warriors. And the top floor, with that golden phoenix on the roof, is a pure Zen temple. It's like power, culture, and religion all stacked on top of each other.
But here's where the story takes a crazy turn. After surviving centuries of wars, the original pavilion was burned to the ground in 1950 by a young monk of all people. The whole country was in shock, but they rallied, and just 5 years later, it was rebuilt, an absolutely perfect replica of its old self.
Okay, so now let's fast forward to the next generation. Decades after the Golden Pavilion was built, Yoshimitsu's grandson, Yoshimasa, decides he wants his own spectacular retirement villa. The plan, to one-up his grandfather and cover the entire thing in pure silver.
And that brings us to the central mystery of the Ginkakuji. It's known everywhere as the Silver Pavilion. So why isn't it silver? What on earth happened to that grand plan?
Well, the hard truth is, they ran out of money. Big time. A brutal civil war had just ripped Kyoto apart and completely emptied the shogunate's bank account. There was nothing left for expensive silver leaf. So the pavilion just stayed unfinished, its dark wood exposed to the elements. And out of that failure, a whole new philosophy of beauty was born. The idea that there's a kind of quiet elegance in imperfection. So when you put them side by side like this, the contrast is just incredible, isn't it? You have the grandfather, at the absolute peak of his family's wealth, building this flashy, golden monument. And then you have the grandson, during a time of decline, creating this masterpiece of quiet, understated Zen beauty. And the real irony? The unfinished silver pavilion is the original one that's still standing.
This whole idea of destruction and rebuilding brings us to one of the core themes of Kyoto's entire history: resilience. So many of its most famous, most sacred spots have been completely destroyed, sometimes over and over again, only to rise right back up from the ashes.
Let's take Kiyomizu-dera, the pure water temple. This place is so ancient it was founded before Kyoto was even the capital city. It's perched way up on the side of a mountain, and its huge wooden stage gives you this absolutely breathtaking view of the whole city. 9. Just the number 9. What do you think that number could possibly represent? The answer is pretty shocking. That's the number of times this beautiful, serene temple has burned completely to the ground. Its peaceful vibe today totally hides a violent past. It was constantly getting caught in the middle of these brutal conflicts between rival factions of warrior monks. And yet, every single time, they rebuilt it. In fact, that famous stage, the one that juts out over the hillside, is an absolute testament to that spirit. Can you even imagine the craftsmanship? It's a massive structure, built with giant wooden beams, and it's all held together by interlocking joints without using a single nail.
And this wasn't just a one-off thing.
Right nearby, you've got Nanzenji, the highest-ranking Zen temple in all of Japan. Same story. It was totally obliterated during that same horrible Onin War. It took more than 100 years before it was finally restored. That's just how it was for so many of Kyoto's landmarks.
Now, out of the ashes of all that conflict, a new era of raw power and ambition rose up, and this period was dominated by one of Japan's great unifiers, a guy named Toyotomi Hideyoshi. His story is just incredible. He went from being a peasant farmer to the absolute ruler of the entire country, and he built things on a scale nobody had ever seen before.
Hideyoshi's building projects were all about showing off. His palaces were unbelievably over the top. Get this, he had a tea room that wasn't just covered in gold, it was designed to be taken apart and moved. He could literally pack up his golden room and set it up wherever he went, just to flex his wealth and power.
But all that opulence was pretty fragile. Just look at the insane timeline of his Fushimi castle. It's finished in 1594. Just 2 years later, a massive earthquake completely levels it. It gets rebuilt. Then it becomes a site of this legendary bloody siege in 1600, and by 1623, it's just gone. Dismantled, with its parts scattered all across the country.
So, after seeing all these places, sites of incredible wealth, quiet beauty, and just shocking destruction, what's the takeaway? What is the real, lasting legacy of Kyoto's landmarks? When you really think about it, these structures are so much more than stone and wood. They're like diaries written right onto the landscape. The Golden Pavilion tells a story of ambition. The Silver Pavilion, a story of finding beauty when things fall apart. And Kiyomizu-dera tells a story of faith that just refuses to die. They are the soul of Kyoto, a city built on both creation and destruction. And that leaves us with one final thought. As these amazing historical sites are being recreated in digital worlds, it brings up a fascinating question. What's the best way to really connect with the soul of the past? Is it by physically walking on the same ground as shoguns and monks, or is it by immersing ourselves in the digital shadows they inspire? Maybe, just maybe, the real answer is a little bit of both.